Hey guys, how's it going? Onage here, and welcome to a new co-op video with Alex Gillon. It's round 4, I believe, and it's the Bahrain Grand Prix. So here we get in my Toro Rosso for the 4th round, as I said, after a quite disappointing race in China. So I have to perform well here. So there we are then, and this will be my my fastest stint. So the stint with my fastest lap. I have done a 1:32.9 at the moment, but I'm sure I can improve that. Alex is in P9 right now. I don't actually know the gap between him and me. But yeah, here we go then on the outlap. And my practice for this track was really bad. It was like minimum practice, almost no practice, because I was playing Assetto Corsa. But still, I switched back from Assetto Corsa to F1 pretty smooth, pretty easily. And after a couple of laps, I felt confident again and at a good pace. So that's luckily not an excuse to use, because my pace is just good, as how it should be, I think. But anyway, here we are then on the outlap. It's on option tires. Alex is on options as well, as I do a little bit of swerving, get some temperature into the tires. And it's right now Osberg in pole with a 1:32.6, so we are 3/10 off from him. And I actually think that I can improve by 3/10 at least. So, but obviously you need a good lap for that, and one mistake can cost a few tenths. So it's important to have a good pace, be steady, and make no mistakes. So here we go then, trying to have a good exit, but didn't really manage it. But anyway, we are using all of our curves and then using DRS now to the start-finish line. And here we go then, hitting in the ref limiter and then braking when the curve starts. So here, then shifting down to first gear. Try to be to hit the apex more than I did there, and then have a good exit for this straight. Good exit is really important out of that corner. And then brake at the 100 meter bar down to second, and then short shift up to third if you need it, and if you don't need it, then not. So here we go then, 2/10 up already on my previous fastest lap, as we go a little bit wide there, taking too much of the curb on the entry of the left-hander. But I didn't really gain time, I think, by going off the track there, luckily. As we brake for this corner, it's pretty hard to get this corner right. You want to hit the apex a little bit more than I did. And then using a little bit of curves and DRS as well, as Alonso did a 1:32.5, so it's gonna be hard to beat that, but I'll give it a try. And then shifting down to third and back up to fourth for this long right-hander, full throttle obviously, and then brake down to second, short shift back to third if you need it. And then here we go, using a little bit of our curves as well, and then saving 100k of curves for the start-finish straight. As we were purple actually in that middle sector, so we have a chance of beating Alonso here for pole position. But I do get a little bit of a bad exit out of that corner, using the rest of our curves and DRS. So let's see what's the time going to be. It's a 1:32.5, just one hundredths off from Alonso. So that was pretty close. 14 1/1000ths off from Alonso. So if I had a better exit out of that final corner, I maybe would have got it. But it's good to say now. Obviously, it's easy to say now where you had to improve as we run through the setup. No, it's hindsight, so you can yeah, you know, it's easy now to say that I should have done this better or that. I mean, I was pretty happy with the lap, put me in P2, but it put Alex, his lap was I didn't really see it, so sorry for that, but I think he is starting a little bit yeah, a little bit further back on the grid, as we have the strategy here, going for a 2-stop. I was actually really pleased with the tire wear in qualifying. Tire wear was pretty good, better than I expected it, to be honest. I expected it to be, quite bad on this track, but it's pretty good, so I'm really happy with that as we get on track now. and then have a look where Alex has qualified himself. I believe Alex was 3 or 4 tenths slower than me. I'm not sure, but I think it was around there. So we have the grid here, so it's Alonso in pole, and we are in P2, and Alex is in P10. So he has to make up a few places at the start, but it's pretty easy to you know, overtake the AI in the first couple of corners because they are pretty slow. Anyway, the lights are coming up, and they are out now. So there we go then, straight off the line. Pretty good start, but then having a little bit of wheel spin there, shifting too early into third gear as Rosberg has a brilliant start. I brake a little bit too earlier, but still managed to keep third. As we indeed are still in P3, but I'm using all of my curves now. This is my chance. I knew it, that this will be probably my only chance, so I brake late, a little bit too late, going deep into that corner. I think to shift down to first gear, and then that let Rosberg past again. But we are in front of Alonso. I don't know where he is actually. So we at least gained 1 place with that. And look in our mirrors, that's already Alex. So he must have had a good start. Moved up to P3 from P10 on the grid, so I don't know how he did that. Fair play to him. So that was pretty much my only chance. I mean, Rosberg is already pulling away a little bit. I went a little bit too deep in there. Didn't really, you know, consider the extra fuel that you have in the race, obviously, compared to qualifying. A little bit more weight. You know, the car is a little bit heavier. So I braked a little bit too late for there actually, but luckily managed to keep it on track and actually gain a place. So the gap to Rosberg is already 1.1 seconds, but let's see what our pace is compared to Alex. I mean, we know Alex is pretty good, and in terms of race pace, and also in terms of you know, saving the tires. Let's go a little bit wide here, not really nailing the apex, but also getting used a little bit to this extra fuel weight that we have, extra fuel load in the car, as Alex has the slipstream advantage, which is pretty big on this track. But luckily he doesn't manage to get past us. Goes a little bit wider, I think, as well. But he managed just to keep P3. So there we have the tire wear. It's not too bad. I was really happy after the you know, the pretty bad tire wear in China to see that the tires were pretty good for this track in terms of tire wear, because I really don't like tracks with high tire wear. As we go a little bit wide into there, a little bit too deep, and Alex is yeah, managing to keep up with me right now. It's just 7 tenths back, as the bollard is has been kicked off by someone laying on the track, but luckily not on the racing line. So going a little bit defensive there, because I know slipstream is a big advantage on this track. So I'm trying to keep Alex out of my slipstream, but he's obviously smart enough to you know, drive in my slipstream then again, so doesn't really help. So 8 tenths to Alex. Gap is building up a little bit, and already 3 seconds to Rosberg, so it seems like we don't have a good pace compared to Rosberg. So here we go, then lap 3. DRS will be enabled this lap. As you can see, Alex managed to close the gap a little bit. I think, you know, thanks to the slipstream, because it's pretty big advantage on this track. As Rosberg is at 1:35.6 compared to our 1:37.0, so not a good pace. But this is the maximum I can do right now. Well, not really the maximum, but I don't want to push too much on. I don't want to push on my maximum, because that will destroy the tires, and obviously the race is a lot about tire wear. So I'm just trying to be smooth on the throttle, smooth with my steering inputs. As you can see, trying to minimize wheel spin, because that's really important, especially the wheel spin. So short shifting helps the wheel spin, but you know, also, you know, your throttle control. Don't push the throttle all the way down. Just, you know, be smooth on the throttle. give it some time. As Alex had DRS, but he isn't really closing in on us. 9/10 to him. But I think he will get DRS anyway for the start-finish straight. We have 2 DRS zones here. And DRS is pretty effective as well. Oh, as I almost spun it right there. Got a little bit too much on the curb. Pretty lucky there to, you know, avoid the barrier. Oh well, not really avoid, but you know what I mean. I kept control over the car, luckily. So Alex is right on our tail now, but I'll skip to lap 5 because, well, pretty much nothing has happened until now, because Alex is on our slipstream with use of DRS, and he's on our outside right now, so I have to leave him space, which I do indeed, I think. Yep, I do, and still leaving him space. But he isn't passed yet, but I have to go defensive now for the next corner because he's in our slipstream again, and he's going to try to go around my outside, and there he is. Can he make it stick? I have to leave him space, obviously. There he goes, using a little bit of curse, but I think he must have used a little bit of curse as well, and he gets past. Brilliant move from him. As he goes a little bit wider, but doesn't matter. Great move from him around my outside. Didn't really expect that. And obviously when he was on my outside, I had to leave him space. Cannot push him off the track, obviously. But now I have to show that I can keep up with Alex. Also with use of DRS now, obviously, because we will get a DRS. But we also have to take a look at Vettel because he is close behind us as well. So this is the time where I should show my pace and make sure Alex doesn't pull away from me. So I'm using a little bit of curse here, but saving some curse for the next straight because we will obviously have DRS there as well. And you can see already how effective slipstreaming is, as I braked a little bit too late there, almost hitting Alex actually. A little bit wide as well, compromises the exit speed, so I don't know if we can overtake him here yet. We are using DRS and going in a slipstream. But we will be on the outside for the next corner probably, or, well, we actually passed him I think. Look in the mirror. Yeah, we passed him already. But still have to leave him a little bit of space, which I do indeed. And he leaves space as well. So good fair battle, but eventually we pulled off the lead, or pulled off the the overtake. Managed to overtake him back again for P2. But just like in last race, look on the minimap, you can see there is a little bit of a train as I go to mix 1 now to save the tires a little bit. As you can see, there's a little bit of a train. Well, not a little bit, there is a big train behind me, just like in China. I mean, the AI is faster than Alex and me. Look in the mirrors, by the way. Alex made a mistake and it dropped him back a few places. I think he is in P6 or P7, I don't know. I think he outbraked himself for that corner and then he just went wide because that corner is really tough. When you lock up, it's pretty much game over, as Vettel is right now behind me with the DRS. Can he overtake me? No, he cannot. As Alex, I think he must have went into the pits, did he? I don't know. Anyway, we have a problem with curse as you have heard, and this is not the right time for curse to fail. I mean, we have to defend from Vettel, and obviously it's better to defend with curse than without. But anyway, it's the way it is. And I think Alex is still out on track actually, but I'm not sure. He probably is. I think Alex will pit this lap. But yeah, as I said, I think the AI is quicker than us, but you know, the AI seems to be a little bit stupid. I mean, in the DRS zones you can easily defend because they don't stay in your slipstream. Well, the slipstream is a really big advantage, but I don't know, they just don't get in your slipstream and then they cannot really overtake you. Yeah, this is what I mean. I'm pulling over to the right, and Vettel is just staying to the left, so he is not gaining any advantage on me because he has no slipstream. Anyway, Vettel will have DRS for this straight, so I'm again pulling over to the right. And my scheduled pit stop is this lap, so we will come into the pits this lap as there's Rosberg actually. He rejoins just in front of Hamilton and just behind Vettel, and as you have heard, my engineer already told me that Alex is right now in the pits, so he's going a little bit for the undercut here. I mean, stopping one lap earlier than me, obviously. We cannot go both in the same lap into the pits. Well, we can, but not with a gap of just 4 seconds or whatever it was, because we will just hold each other up. So we are in first position right now, but that's obviously because Rosberg has pitted. And Vettel is still following me. The bollard is still actually laying there on the track, but it's not on the racing line anyway. So using a little bit of ridge mixture now then. Also, oh, there comes Vettel by the way, around my outside. Oh, leaving his space. I left him space there, but he just went off the track. He was around my outside. I think there was no contact. There might have been, but I don't think, because I didn't feel it anyway in my steering wheel. But anyway, staying on ridge, I think. Because, yep, staying on ridge. Because Alex obviously will have fresh tires now. Maybe he will join in front of me. While I obviously prefer to stay ahead of Alex. So here we come then into the pits, going to lean. And there we are. So I don't know really what happened to Vettel there. Maybe it was his own mistake. I don't know. I didn't feel any contact as we go for the prime tire. And he just went off the track there. 3.1 seconds. As we rejoin the track soon. Let's have a look if we can stay in front of Alex and in front of Alex. Hamilton went into the pits as well, as there is Alex giving me a little bit of a push. But I think we can stay ahead of him. I still have no curse to defend with. So this is gonna be a little bit of a fight, obviously. He is still behind me. He's still behind me, yeah, he is. Alright, so I have learned a little bit from the move he did earlier. I expected him to, maybe go around my outside again, so that's why I took a slightly different line to, prevent him from going around my outside again. But he obviously has warm tires, and I have a little bit of cold tires right now, so he should have the pace, and also he will have DRS now, and I have no curse to defend with. So here he comes. Is it enough? He's on my outside. But no. So I really hope that curse will be available to me soon. Because I have to use it to defend from Alex. As Hamilton is also very close to Alex. Hamilton pitted the same lap as me. As Rosberg did a 1:40.34.3. So here we go then. Start finish straight, and I'm not even defending. I mean, I have no curse, so it's going to be an easy pass for Alex. There he goes. Absolutely no curse to defend with. So there he goes. A little bit too deep into the corner. Almost hit Alex, but luckily just missed him. So we actually really do need curse now. Otherwise Alex might be pulling away from me, but we obviously will have the advantage of DRS, which is pretty effective on this track. A little bit wider. So obviously a new set of prime tires. Looking good so far. As I said, really happy with the tire wear. It's pretty good in this race. Don't really have to worry about it. And there we go, Curse is back. And also we have DRS on him now. Alex goes as offensive. And we have to go around the outside, but obviously not going to work because you have to travel more meters. Or you have to travel a longer distance. which is not going to work, not on a professional driver such as Alex. But obviously I will have a lot of curse. I'm not using curse for this straight and then saving it all for the start finish straight, so I can you know, be sure. Oh, Alex squeezes me a little bit there, so I can be sure that I can get past Alex. So here we go then, using the curse, and now the DRS, Alex goes offensive. He must be using some curse as well because the speed advantage is not really huge. So here we go then, around his outside. Here he goes, going a little bit too deep in there. Will compromise his exit, I think. Well, it's not too bad. Good corner from Alex, good defending. But we are still in his slipstream. And now we are on the outside for this next corner. And it's not going to work. I was too far back. So still have to wait. And then try to overtake him in the next DRS zones. There's a little bit wide there. But obviously we also have Hamilton behind us, and behind Hamilton obviously that big long train full of cars. So good defending by Alex at the moment. So using DRS now and actually not using any curse. I'm gonna save it for the final sector. So I had a little bit of a look on the inside of Alex, but it doesn't really make him nervous. Obviously Alex is a professional driver who is very consistent and doesn't really make a lot of mistakes. So here we go then. Now I'm going to use a little bit of curse in order to close in a little bit more on him, and then use the rest on the start finish straight again, going to Rich as well, just to make sure I can get him. Pretty good exit. So here we go then, using curse, staying in the slipstream, using DRS now as well, and with Rick's mixture, and using a little bit of curse again. And I think we have got him. Yep, we do. So making sure to brake early for this corner, and I go defensive, because I know if I didn't go defensive, Alex would have probably looked again on my inside, as he is right now on my outside, so I have to leave him a little bit of space. But it seems like I managed to overtake him. He's again around my outside, but is he going to make it stick? No, he's not. Alright, so we took him and then going immediately to lean. And that's just because of the tire wear, trying to save the rear tires, particularly in this middle sector. Because you have a lot of traction zones, obviously, in this sector. So it's important to minimize wheel spin. So as you saw there with the overtake, used Rich, used a lot of curse and DRS, so pretty straightforward. And then when I overtook him, I obviously went back to the inside, sorry. You know, covering off the inside for the first corner, so you would get passed back again. Well, okay, that was a difficult sentence, sorry. As the gap is 5/10 to him. And 24 seconds to Rosberg, so there's no way I'm still going to win this race, or someone else is going to win this race other than Rosberg, because he has a really big lead, unless something strange happens to him. 6/10 to Alex. He will have DRS, as the tire wear looks really good, luckily. So here comes Alex with use of DRS, but he's too far back. So we will skip then to lap 18. Nothing has happened. Alex is 2.6 seconds behind us, so we managed to actually pull away from him, and the gap to Rosberg is 27 seconds, so that kept extending. And I think Alex has had a little bit of a battle with the AI, but yeah, as I said, the AI isn't really aggressive enough to overtake, or well, they don't really use your slipstream, so yeah, they don't really overtake, which is unfortunate, sorry. Yeah, you cannot really battle with them. So I expect Rosberg to be pitting then soon as well, and Alex as well. He's 2.6 behind us. I'm planning on stopping in lap 20, but it also depends on what Alex is doing. Right now I told Alex that I will, you know, I'll go for lap 20. That's my scheduled stop. But yeah, obviously I have to see what Alex does in terms of strategy. And no problems with the tire wear. at the moment. So 26 seconds to Rosberg and 3 seconds to Alex, so the gap is still extending. Good pace actually from the prime tires. I must say there isn't really such a big drop off point in these tires, as I do have a little bit of a luck up there, which was my own mistake. Moved over a little bit too much on the curb, which is costing time. That was my mistake, my own fault. As Alex comes into the pits, so lap 18. Well, the scheduled pit stop is in lap 20, so he comes in 2 laps earlier, which is interesting. But yeah, as I said, not such a big drop. Sorry, not such a big drop-off point. Yeah, in terms of in terms of lap time. We saw in the previous races that was a pretty big drop-off point, and you will be really slow in terms of lap time. But it's not too bad on this track actually, as Hamilton is actually closing in on us now that he now that Alex went into the pits. He has a little bit of clean air, so that shows that the AI is yeah, quicker than me. So as I said, my scheduled pit stop was in lap 20, but I have to respond to Alex, so I will pit this lap then, because I think if I wait another lap, I think Alex will come out in front of me. That's obviously not really what I want, so I have to respond. I have to react, and we'll do that this lap then with a pit stop, as Hamilton made up 8 tenths to me in one sector, so that's good pace from him. As the tires don't really give a lot of grip anymore, so it's time to head into the pits and react to Alex's pit stop. So there we are, selecting the option tire. So that means we have to do 10 laps on the option tire, which should be possible. I mean, we did 9 laps, I think, on the first stint. This is Hamilton in the 134.1. So let's see then, where is Alex? We are rejoining the track now. And Alex is approaching now the first corner. Look in the mirror. But seems like we actually stay ahead of him with a little bit of a margin. But I'm still obviously on cold tire, so Alex still has the advantage on me. So as you have heard, my engineer just said that Alex is on the prime tire. And I can confirm that he is indeed on the prime tire. So Alex went for the prime tire, which I did not expect, to be honest. And we went for the option tire. So interesting strategy then. So Alex went for option prime, and we are going for option prime with 10 laps to go. So obviously I will have the advantage now on Alex with these tires giving more grip, but I might struggle at the end when Alex's tire wear isn't as bad as mine because of the prime tires. But I am pushing right now, I can tell you. I am pushing and using a little bit of ridge as well, trying to get Alex out of my DRS zone, because once the car gets in your DRS zone, it's really easy to stick with the car in front. So a few cars into the pits. Here we go. Hamilton is in the pits as well, but seems like he drops back behind Alex. Yeah, he does indeed. So Alex gained that place. So he's in P3 and we are in P2, just like before the pit stops. So it's all good now, as Rosberg still has a big lead over me. So we do purple, 26 seconds to Rosberg and 1.3 to Alex. So I managed to get him out of my DRS zone, but I am pushing right now, which is obviously bad for the tires. But I think I have no other choice, to be honest. I mean, if Alex manages to stay in my DRS zone, he will be, constantly within a second of me, and I have to make a gap in order to stay ahead of him at the end of the race. So still on Rich, I think, pushing this lap. Remember, we did purple in the first sector and purple as well in the second sector, so fastest right now on the track. 2.4 to Alex, so the gap is extending a lot right now, because I have the advantage with these tires. Here we go then. This must be the fastest lap of the race. Yeah, it is indeed. 133.451. 25 seconds to Rosberg, 2.6 to Alex, so we managed to get another 2/10 on the last sector. So let's see if I can still manage to stay ahead of him as we skip the lap 29, final lap of the race. And I can tell you now that my tire wear isn't that bad. We are doing 137s though, which is really slow, but I think I made a mistake this lap. Yeah, I must have made a mistake this lap, which I indeed did. I did it in the same place where Alex did it earlier this race, you know, the very tight left-hander first gear. I will show it soon which corner it is. I made the same mistake as Alex, locked up the front tires, and then it's just bye-bye. No way you can correct that. But luckily, even with the mistake, I am 2.7 seconds ahead of Alex, and this is the final lap, so we should be able to, you know, stay ahead of him. Tires aren't that bad, but yeah, it was this point where I made a mistake, braked a little bit too late, and then just went off the track, as you can see here as well. Struggling now with the grip, so I'm very happy that the race will end this lap, because Alex must be quicker now than us on this prime tire compared to our worn option, as Rosberg takes home victory. And we still have to cross the line, so that mistake cost me around 2 seconds, so the gap would be then 4.3 seconds to Alex, but doesn't matter anyway. Yeah, it just seems like I will come in second then if I can nail this final corner, which I do indeed. Great corner. So here we go then, crossing the line, P2, really happy with that. Behind Rosberg, who is in first place, 31 seconds behind Rosberg, and then there's Alex in P3, 32 seconds behind Rosberg. And then let's have a look at the fastest laps. 1:33.4 from me, 1:34.2 from Rosberg, and I think I'm the only one who did a 1:33. No, that's not true. Perez did a 1:33.7. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it, so thank you for watching. Really happy with this result after the disappointment race in China. Yeah, this was a pretty important race for me. Obviously, the tire wear played in my favor, because on tracks with high tire wear, Alex is pretty much always in, you know, Alex always has an advantage over me, and that's because I just always struggle with tire wear. But luckily not on this track, luckily, which gave me P2, which I'm really happy about after the race in China. So yeah, thanks again for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, I would appreciate a like, and other than that, I'll see you guys next time. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.